One of TV's most shocking moments took place Sunday night on Fox.
In dramatic and disturbing fashion, the producers of Family Guy killed off Brian the dog.
Brian's dead!
Season 12 gave us the death of Brian Griffin. What it didn't give us was the truth. Over the years, fans have been wondering who could have been behind the wheels from which Brian was killed, and after so many years of watching countless episodes, searching Reddit forums, we might finally have an answer. Who killed Brian Griffin? The seeds of Brian's demise were planted months before the episode even aired. At Comic-Con 2013, the Family Guy producers teased something shocking.
I always like to plug some upcoming episodes. We have a terrific season this year. One special episode that we have for the fall is we're actually going to kill off one of the Griffin family and replace them with a new character. So I hope people will tune in for that.
Now, what
I
does
actually heard somebody go, what?
There's a couple of whats out there. So Steve, what does that mean?
It means that one of the Griffins is going to die and will be replaced by a new character.
It appears we've got a highly responsive room today.
Most fans immediately guessed it would be Meg. She'd been the punching bag for years, the one no one seemed to care about. If she died, the show's main storylines wouldn't change much.
Meg Griffin was an honest man, a kind man. A man who knew how... Oh my stars. I have nothing.
Kind of feel bad. There's nobody here.
I know. We're not even here. This was the right decision.
But instead of Meg, Brian was the one killed in the episode Life of Brian after being hit by a speeding car. This accident, or maybe murder, made the Family Guy fandom explode. The first finger was pointed at Glenn Quagmire. Honestly, it's easy to see why. Quagmire's hatred for Brian isn't exactly a secret. The two have been at each other's throats for years, constant insults, arguments, and yeah, even a few times where Quagmire flat out threatened Brian's life. And if you go back and watch Brian's funeral scene, Quagmire barely reacts, no emotion, just cold, like he didn't care at all that Brian was gone. And for a lot of fans, that felt like a clue, like maybe he knew something, or maybe he was even involved.
Damn it, Ortiz, stop swinging at junk.
But would Quagmire really go that far? I mean, he lives next door. If he was behind the wheel, wouldn't someone have seen him? Some people think maybe he didn't do it himself. Maybe he hired someone. But, I don't know. As much as he hates Brian, Quagmire doesn't strike me as the type to plan out a murder. He's impulsive, sure, but a full-on hit, that just doesn't feel like him. So, if it wasn't Quagmire, who else would have a reason to want Brian gone? That's where Dylan, Brian's own son, comes in, and when you look at their history, it kind of makes sense why people think he could have done it. Brian didn't just let Dylan down once, he did it twice. The first time was in the Life of Brian. That's where Dylan really tries to bond with his dad, only for Brian to eventually bail on him. And then, when Dylan comes back in season 12, Brian does it again. This time using Dylan's fame for his own selfish reasons before tossing him aside. Fans have even pointed out the connection between those episode titles, the former Life of Brian and Life of Brian, where Brian dies. Like maybe Dylan's revenge was built into the story all along. That's why Dylan still comes up as a prime suspect whenever fans talk about this mystery, but Dylan's not the only one whose timing felt suspicious. Right after Brian's death, another figure stepped into the spotlight, Vinnie, the new family dog. The timing alone made a lot of fans raise their eyebrows. Brian's gone, and suddenly there's a new dog stepping in to take his place. It felt a little too convenient. Vinnie's backstory doesn't help either. The show hints at connections to the mob and a shady past, which led some fans to wonder if he was planted, maybe brought into the family with a purpose, not by chance. Some theories even go as far as to suggest that Quagmire hired Vinnie to take Brian out and slide into his spot. There's no real proof of this, of course, but the overlap between Brian's death and Vinnie's arrival has kept fans suspicious ever since. And if we're talking about suspects with real power to make something like this happen, Carter Pewterschmidt is hard to ignore. He's got the money, the connections, and the motive. The car that hit Brian, a 2010 Mercedes-Benz E-Class coupe, fits Carter's style perfectly. It's the kind of luxury car he wouldn't think twice about owning. Brian's gotten in Carter's way more than once, calling out his shady business business schemes and stirring up trouble. It wouldn't be hard to believe that Carter might have seen Brian as nothing more than an annoying obstacle. But here's the thing. Would Carter really go for something as messy as a hit and run? It seems a little careless for someone as calculated as him. Then again, maybe he thought no one would bother looking into it. After all, to Carter, Brian was just the family dog. And then there's a lesser known theory that puts the blame on Ruth Rutherford, Meg's best friend. In Disney's The Reboot from season 18, Ruth is shown driving a car that looks exactly like the one that hit Brian. That small detail was enough for some fans to connect the dots. According to the theory, Ruth might have taken a wrong turn onto Spooner Street, spotted Meg's house, and panicked. Maybe she tried to speed past to avoid an awkward encounter, and in the process, Brian ended up in the wrong place at the wrong time. It's the kind of bad luck that seems to follow Meg. Even her friends don't want to be near her for long. Some fans even point the finger at Stewie. If anyone had the brains, the tools, and the ability to track down Brian's killer, it was him. But Stewie didn't. He stayed silent. And that's what gets people thinking maybe he knew who did it all along. There's this lingering question in the fan base. Did Stewie let the driver go on purpose? Was there something he chose not to reveal? Or could it be that there's a darker reason behind his silence? Something the show never intended for us to figure out.
Damn it, Brian, you can't die. We were going to do so many things together. We were going to become windsurfers. I was going to be a little better than you, but we were both going to be good.
And speaking of people close to Stewie, there's one more name fans can't ignore, Penelope. In Mr. and Mrs. Stewie, she didn't exactly hide how she felt about Brian. She flat out tried to convince Stewie to kill him. With that kind of motive, it's not a stretch for fans to wonder if she finally decided to handle it herself. Penelope had the motive, she had the skills. If anyone outside the main family had both the reason and the ability to pull something like this off, she's definitely on the list of suspects fans still talk about.
Brian? Why, what did Brian say?
Oh, nothing. He just thinks you're a bad influence on me. Thinks I should stop seeing you.
He does. How dare he?
Babe, don't worry about it, all right?
Stuart, do you love me?
More than anything.
Then swear on that love that you'll do what I ask.
Just name it.
Kill him.
But just when you think the theories couldn't get any weirder, enter the squirrel. Right after Brian was hit, a squirrel runs up and kicks him while he's down. That tiny moment sparked a whole theory.
That guy sucked.
Fans started looking back at all the times Brian had gone after squirrels in the show, and there were plenty. Brian had a history of going out of his way to attack them, and some think maybe this was the squirrel community's way of getting revenge. It sounds far-fetched, but in a show like Family Guy, anything feels possible.
Hey, neighborinos. So not a huge deal, but if you guys could keep your chittering down, I'm trying to get some writing done in the house.
Oh, yeah, no problem, bro. Also, maybe you could go your own face, huh? Could that be good? Yeah!
Okay. All right, thanks, guys.
Despite all the theories over the years, Family Guy has never revealed who was really behind the wheel that day, and maybe that's intentional. By leaving Brian's killer a mystery, the show keeps fans talking, debating, and rewatching, always searching for clues that might not even be there. Behind the scenes, the writers admitted Brian's death wasn't meant to spark some grand whodunit. It was meant to shock the audience, shake up the formula, and remind viewers that even a beloved character like Brian wasn't safe in the Family Guy universe. They chose Brian because losing the family dog felt less extreme than killing off a child or another major character. And by never naming a culprit, they left the door open for theories, for debate, and for that question to stick around. What do you think? Have we finally solved the mystery, or is there evidence we missed? Let us know in the comments below. This case might be cold, but it's far from closed.